A 45-ton fighter jet sits motionless on a ship's deck. 3 seconds later, it's airborne at 150 miles per hour. No runway, no long takeoff roll. Just pure electromagnetic power launching America's deadliest weapons into the sky faster than most cars reach highway speed. What you're about to discover happens every single day aboard our nation's most advanced warships, and the technology behind it reads like science fiction. But it's not fiction. It's the reality of American naval dominance, and the coolest part isn't what you think it is. The United States Navy operates the most sophisticated floating cities ever constructed by human hands. These aren't just ships. They're 100,000-ton fortresses carrying enough firepower to level entire countries, powered by nuclear reactors that won't need refueling for 25 years. But among all the incredible things happening aboard these maritime marvels, one operation stands above the rest as absolutely mind-blowing. Today, we're taking you inside the most classified and impressive capabilities of American aircraft carriers, from the revolutionary electromagnetic catapults that defy physics to the nuclear powerhouses that could light up entire cities. If you're proud of American military innovation and want to see what your tax dollars have created, let us know by commenting below. Main content begins. Let's start with what most people think is the coolest thing about aircraft carriers, those massive steam catapults that have been launching planes for decades. Wrong. That's old technology. What's happening right now on America's newest supercarriers makes those steam systems look like slingshots. Meet EMALS, the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a complete revolution in how we project American air power across the globe. Instead of using steam pressure like your grandfather's aircraft carrier, EMALS uses the same principles that power magnetic levitation trains, but weaponized for war. Here's how it works, and prepare to have your mind blown. Beneath the flight deck, a linear induction motor stretches over 300 feet. When a pilot gives the signal for launch, thousands of volts of electricity surge through copper coils, creating a magnetic field so powerful it could lift a car. This field grabs onto a shuttle connected to the aircraft and accelerates it from 0 to 150 miles per hour in just 2.5 seconds. But here's the part that will make you appreciate American engineering genius. Unlike the violent, jarring launch of steam catapults that stressed aircraft frames and limited what could be launched, EMALS provides smooth, precise acceleration. It can gently launch a 500-pound drone or powerfully hurl a 45-ton fighter jet with equal precision. The computer controls are so advanced they can adjust power levels in real time, ensuring perfect launch speed for any aircraft. The numbers are staggering. Traditional steam catapults could manage about 4,000 launches before major maintenance. EMALS is designed for 20,000 launches between overhauls. That's 5 times more reliable while using 30% less energy and requiring 30% fewer crew members to operate. But wait, there's something even more impressive happening on these floating fortresses that most Americans never hear about. Right now, as we speak, there's an aircraft carrier somewhere in the world launching combat missions at a rate that would shock you. Not one plane every few minutes like you see in movies. We're talking about sustained operations that put aircraft in the air faster than major airports handle passenger jets. The sortie generation rate of modern American carriers isn't just impressive, it's absolutely overwhelming to any potential adversary. A single Nimitz or Ford-class carrier can generate 125 strike sorties in a single day during surge operations. That means 125 combat aircraft, each capable of hitting 6 different targets with precision munitions, all launched from one ship. To put that in perspective, that's more firepower than most entire air forces can generate from all their bases combined. But the launch system is just the beginning. What happens when those aircraft come back is equally incredible, and it involves technology that seems to bend the laws of physics. Advanced arresting gear technology. When a $100 million fighter jet approaches the carrier at 150 miles per hour, it has exactly 500 feet to come to a complete stop. Miss the mark by even a few feet, and you've got a catastrophic accident that could kill dozens of crew members and destroy millions of dollars in equipment. This is where the advanced arresting gear system takes over, and it's just as revolutionary as the launch system. Instead of the hydraulic cables your father might remember from old war movies, modern carriers use electromagnetic technology to catch landing aircraft. Here's what happens in those crucial 3 seconds of landing. The aircraft's tailhook catches one of 4 steel cables stretched across the deck. Instead of using massive hydraulic pistons that created bone-jarring stops, the new system uses turbo-electric motors that provide perfectly controlled deceleration. The computer system calculates the aircraft's weight, approach speed, and optimal stopping distance in milliseconds, then applies exactly the right amount of braking force. The result? Pilots experience a firm but smooth stop instead of the violent deceleration that used to leave them with whiplash. More importantly, the system can safely recover everything from heavy strike fighters to lightweight drones without damaging their airframes. Nuclear power capabilities. But even these launch and recovery systems pale in comparison to what's powering the entire operation. Deep in the heart of every modern American aircraft carrier sit 2 nuclear reactors that represent the pinnacle of atomic engineering. The new A-1B reactors aboard Ford-class carriers generate over 700 megawatts of power. That's enough electricity to power a city of 700,000 people. For 25 years, without refueling. Think about that for a moment. These ships carry enough nuclear fuel to operate at full power for a quarter century without ever needing to visit a port for energy. This incredible power generation capability enables everything else we've discussed. The electromagnetic catapults need massive amounts of electricity for each launch. The radar systems that can track objects 250 miles away require enormous power. The desalination plants that produce 400,000 gallons of fresh water daily from seawater need constant energy. All of it powered by controlled nuclear reactions happening 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Before we dive deeper into the most classified capabilities, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing but makes a huge difference to us. Flight deck operations mastery. Now let's talk about what coordination looks like when you're operating a 4.5-acre flight deck with 90 aircraft, 3,000 crew members, and combat operations happening around the clock. The flight deck of an aircraft carrier has been called the most dangerous workplace in America, and for good reason. Aircraft weighing as much as school buses are constantly moving at high speeds. Jet engines producing 22,000 pounds of thrust are spinning up for launch. Hot exhaust that can melt steel is being directed in all directions. And all of this is happening on a moving platform that's pitching and rolling with ocean swells. What makes it work is a system of coordination so precise it would make NASA jealous. Every person on that flight deck wears a different colored jersey that instantly identifies their role. Yellow shirts direct aircraft movement with hand signals that can be understood over the roar of jet engines. Red shirts handle weapons and ammunition. Purple shirts manage fuel operations. Green shirts maintain the catapults and arrestor cables. But here's the part that showcases American organizational brilliance. In the middle of combat operations, this flight deck can reconfigure itself in minutes. Aircraft can be moved from launch position to parking, rearmed with different weapons, refueled, and repositioned for the next sortie faster than most people can parallel park a car. The choreography is so complex that every movement is planned and rehearsed. When you see 20 aircraft handlers moving a $100 million fighter jet across the deck, every step has been calculated to avoid collision with other aircraft, personnel, and equipment. It's like watching a deadly ballet performed by some of the most skilled technicians in the world. Advanced Weapons Elevator Systems. Speaking of moving things quickly, let's discuss something most people never see, but represents another breakthrough in carrier technology: the weapons elevator systems. Traditional carriers stored weapons in magazines deep below the flight deck and used slow, cumbersome elevators to bring munitions topside. This created bottlenecks that limited how quickly aircraft could be rearmed between sorties. The new advanced weapons elevators on Ford-class carriers have completely revolutionized this process. These aren't your grandfather's mechanical lifts. They're electromagnetic linear motors that can move 24,000 pounds of ordnance at 150 feet per minute. That's twice the capacity and 50% faster than previous systems. But speed isn't the only advantage. The new elevators are positioned so that weapons never have to cross aircraft movement areas. This eliminates traffic jams on the flight deck and reduces the risk of accidents during high-tempo operations. Weapons can be brought up from storage, moved to aircraft, and loaded without interfering with launch and recovery operations. The result is a carrier that can sustain higher sortie rates for longer periods, giving American forces a decisive advantage in any conflict. Defensive systems and capabilities. Now let's talk about something that's both fascinating and highly classified: how these floating cities defend themselves against threats. Modern aircraft carriers are protected by layers of defensive systems that create an impenetrable bubble of American military technology. The outermost layer consists of escort ships, destroyers and cruisers equipped with the most advanced radar and missile systems ever developed. These ships can track and engage incoming threats at ranges exceeding 100 miles. But the carrier itself isn't defenseless. The close-in weapons system, known as CIWS and pronounced CWIS, is a last-ditch defense against incoming missiles and aircraft. This radar-controlled gun system can fire 4,500 rounds per minute of 20mm ammunition with computer-guided precision that makes human reflexes look glacially slow. The newest carriers also feature the rolling airframe missile system, which can intercept multiple incoming threats simultaneously. These heat-seeking missiles can engage targets that the CIWS might miss, providing overlapping layers of protection. But perhaps the most impressive defensive capability is one you can't see: electronic warfare systems that can jam enemy communications, disrupt guidance systems, and essentially blind hostile forces trying to target the carrier. These classified systems represent decades of American technological advancement in electromagnetic warfare. Humanitarian capabilities. Here's something that might surprise you. These instruments of war are also incredible tools for peace and humanitarian assistance. When disaster strikes anywhere in the world, American aircraft carriers often arrive first with capabilities that dwarf those of most nations' entire emergency response systems. A single carrier can produce 400,000 gallons of fresh drinking water daily through nuclear-powered desalination plants. The medical facilities aboard include full surgical suites, intensive care units, and enough supplies to operate a major hospital for months. The flight deck can accommodate large cargo helicopters bringing in relief supplies or evacuating casualties. During the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, American carriers provided immediate disaster relief to millions of people. After Hurricane Katrina in 2005, carrier-based aircraft delivered critical supplies to stranded Americans. When Haiti was devastated by earthquake in 2010, U.S. Navy carriers provided medical care, clean water, and logistical support that saved thousands of lives. This dual capability, projecting American military power when necessary and providing humanitarian assistance when needed, represents the best of what our nation stands for on the world stage. Crew living conditions. Let's talk about something equally impressive: how 3,000 people live and work together for months at sea in what amounts to a floating city. Modern aircraft carriers are marvels of space efficiency and life support systems. The crew sleeps in berthing areas that maximize privacy while minimizing space. Each sailor has their own rack with personal storage, reading light, and privacy curtain. It's not luxurious, but it's functional and gives everyone their own personal space. The ship operates its own post office, barbershop, library, and even television studio. The galley serves 18,000 meals per day, using ingredients stored in refrigerated compartments that could supply a small town. Fresh water comes from the nuclear-powered desalination plants we mentioned earlier. But what's really impressive is the morale and esprit de corps among the crew. These are America's finest, young men and women who volunteered to serve their country and are operating the most sophisticated military equipment ever created. The pride and professionalism you see aboard these ships represents the best of American values and dedication. Global power projection. Now let's discuss why all of this technology matters for America's place in the world. Aircraft carriers don't just project military power, they project American presence, values, and leadership to every corner of the globe. When international crises develop, the first question asked in Washington is often, where are the carriers? These ships can respond to emerging situations faster than any other military asset, arriving on scene with enough firepower to influence events and enough humanitarian capability to provide assistance. The mere presence of an American carrier battle group changes the calculus for potential adversaries. Nations that might consider aggressive action think twice when 90 combat aircraft and their supporting ships appear on the horizon. This deterrent effect has prevented countless conflicts and saved millions of lives. At the same time, allies and friends around the world see American carriers as symbols of stability and partnership. When these ships visit foreign ports, they demonstrate American technological superiority while building relationships with partner nations. Future developments. The capabilities we've discussed today are just the beginning. The next generation of American aircraft carriers will feature even more revolutionary technology. Directed energy weapons, essentially laser systems, are being developed for carrier defense. These weapons can engage multiple targets simultaneously at the speed of light with virtually unlimited ammunition as long as the ship has electrical power. Unmanned aircraft systems are being integrated into carrier operations, allowing for missions that would be too dangerous for human pilots. These drones can stay airborne for days, providing persistent surveillance and strike capabilities. Advanced radar systems under development will be able to track objects the size of golf balls at ranges exceeding 200 miles. Combined with improved data processing capabilities, future carriers will have unprecedented situational awareness of everything happening within hundreds of miles. The human element. But with all this incredible technology, the most impressive thing about American aircraft carriers remains the people who operate them. These are volunteers, young Americans who chose to serve their country and are entrusted with equipment worth billions of dollars. The training required to operate aboard a carrier is intense and ongoing. Pilots spend years learning to land on a moving deck in all weather conditions. Deck crew train constantly to handle aircraft safely in dangerous conditions. Engineering personnel manage nuclear reactors that could power cities. The level of trust, competence, and dedication required to make all of this work is extraordinary. When you see a carrier conducting flight operations, you're witnessing the result of thousands of hours of training, preparation, and teamwork by some of America's finest citizens. Technological supremacy. What we've covered today represents American technological supremacy in its purest form. No other nation on Earth possesses the combination of nuclear power, electromagnetic launch systems, advanced defensive capabilities, and operational expertise that defines modern U.S. Navy aircraft carriers. China is attempting to develop similar capabilities, but their carriers still rely on older ski-jump launch systems that severely limit aircraft payload and range. Russia's sole aircraft carrier has been out of service for repairs for years and lacks the advanced systems we've discussed. American carriers aren't just bigger or more numerous than those of other nations. They're generationally ahead in capability and effectiveness. This technological edge, combined with the training and dedication of American sailors, ensures that the United States Navy remains the dominant maritime force in the world. Economic impact. These carriers also represent massive investments in American technology and manufacturing. Each Ford-class carrier costs approximately $13 billion and requires the coordinated efforts of thousands of companies across the United States. The shipyards that build these vessels employ tens of thousands of American workers in high-skilled, high-paying jobs. The technology developed for carrier systems often finds applications in civilian industries, driving innovation and economic growth. From nuclear engineering to advanced materials science, electromagnetic systems to computer technology, aircraft carriers push the boundaries of what's possible and create jobs for American workers while strengthening our industrial base. Strategic importance. In an era of great power competition, aircraft carriers remain America's ultimate strategic asset. They provide options for decision makers that no other military system can match. the ability to project overwhelming force anywhere in the world while maintaining the flexibility to respond to changing situations. Whether facing a humanitarian crisis, deterring aggression, or conducting combat operations, American aircraft carriers provide capabilities that ensure the United States can protect its interests and support its allies, regardless of where threats emerge. The electromagnetic launch systems, nuclear power plants, advanced defensive systems, and incredible operational tempo we've discussed today all serve one ultimate purpose: ensuring that American values and interests are protected in an uncertain world. Outro. The coolest thing happening on American aircraft carriers isn't any single system or capability. It's the integration of revolutionary technology with the skill and dedication of American sailors to create the most powerful military assets in human history. From electromagnetic catapults that launch aircraft faster than physics should allow, to nuclear reactors that provide unlimited endurance, these ships represent the pinnacle of human achievement in military technology. Every time you see one of these carriers conducting operations, remember that you're witnessing American ingenuity, determination, and technological superiority in action. These ships don't just defend our nation, they represent the best of what America can accomplish when we set our minds to achieving the impossible. If this glimpse into America's naval supremacy impressed you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content showcasing the incredible capabilities of our armed forces.